Deep in the craggy mountains of Transylvania, the summer sun is just blazing. It's relentlessly hot. Picture this heavy, silent stone castle, and inside, Dracula sits completely alone, trapped in the shadows, while the intense heat just beats against the walls outside. Down in the cool, quiet stone kitchen, his pale hands are submerged deep in soapy water. The whole place is utterly silent, save for the faint flutter of bat wings and the scuttle of spiders across the high ceilings. But resting right there on the counter, caught in a thin sliver of sunlight, is an old transistor radio, and suddenly a bouncy, guitar-heavy surf song crackles to life through the quiet room. The music abruptly cuts out, and a DJ's voice booms over the airwaves, announcing that major swells are hitting the Black Sea this week. "Grab your boards and hang 10," he says. Well, this sudden, booming announcement startles Dracula so badly, his hand actually jerks. Crack! An ancient crystal goblet shatters right into the soapy sink. Instantly, he turns away, rushes over to a heavy oak desk, and dips a quill deep into dark ink. And pretty soon, it turns into an absolute monster mash. Ink-stained invitations fly out across the land. Just a few days later, those quiet stone walls are practically vibrating with noise. The castle is just full to bursting. You've got the Wolfman and the Mummy blinking into the parlor in a sudden flash of magic. Outside, a wooden wagon rattles right up to the front doors, packed with naked goblins bearing way too many teeth. Frankenstein and his bride lumber through the archway wearing matching Hawaiian shirts. Igor drags his clubfoot behind him, followed by witches, warlocks, and a dripping creature from the Black Lagoon. The main hall is completely transformed. Imagine vibrant beach towels, colorful leis, and ocean seashells draped right over these heavy, rusty iron chains and dusty spiderwebs. Dracula stands by the entrance with his arms wide open. As each monster steps onto the cold stone floor, he eagerly presses a freshly waxed surfboard into their hands. A wild cheer erupts. The monsters turn and stampede out those heavy castle doors, rushing down to the beach like a flock of seagulls diving for bread. But very quickly, the host is left in the dark. Down on the shore, thick smoke is filling the air. Dr. Jekyll is flipping burgers on a charcoal grill, and Mr. Hyde is promptly burning them to a black crust. Dracula steps toward the sand, but he stops right at the doorway. The blazing morning sun is just cresting the water's edge. He spins around and sprints frantically back into the dark stone hall. The morning creeps by with him sighing alone in a pitch-black coffin. By high noon, his boots are echoing on the stone floors as he paces, trying and failing to dance the hula with a tangle of confused spiders. As the sun finally sets, he sits eagerly by the front door. He's got a Monopoly board perfectly set up, snacks waiting. The heavy iron doors creak open. The monsters stumble through, but their skin is cooked from the blazing sun, their energy is completely spent. Without a single word, they shuffle right past the parlor and head straight to their beds. Dracula is left standing alone in this silent room. He stares at the neatly arranged game pieces for a long moment, picks up the board, and tosses it directly into the roaring fireplace. It's a lonely breakfast the next day. Bright and early, the smell of sizzling meat drifts through the cold kitchen. Dracula is up way before everyone else, cooking this massive breakfast spread with a small side of blood. The guests stumble in, and they're already wearing their bathing suits. Spectral trunks are hovering around floating ghosts, and the goblins are once again completely naked. Wolfman doesn't even bother to sit down. He just swallows a collectible rare steak whole, wipes his mouth, and adjusts his sunglasses, totally ready for the roaring waves. Dracula forces his voice to stay perfectly steady, waving them off to go have fun while he washes the bloody silver. The room empties out quickly, leaving only the mummy. She stands there in the doorway, her bandage-wrapped eyes narrowing sharply. "You sure it's okay if we go surf without you?" And here begins the mummy's plan. Dracula forces a tight smile. "Go ride a vile wave for me," he says. The mummy shrugs and walks out. Instantly, Dracula transforms into a bat with a soft puff of black mist, flying straight up into the dusty, pitch-black belfry. But what exactly did the mummy see in that forced smile? Down on the hot sand, the sun is beating relentlessly. Wolfman is laying out on a towel, bright blonde streaks bleaching into his shaggy brown fur. Beside him, Frankenstein is tanning, burning, and freckling in strange, mismatched patches across his green skin.
The mummy marches right up to them and pulls them aside.
Over the sound of the crashing waves, she sighs, her voice low. Just because he said it was okay doesn't mean it actually is. He's just being more polite than we are. Wolfman pauses, his ears tucked slowly back against his head.
Suddenly, Wolfman hops to his feet, his tail beginning to wag. Frankenstein lumbers up, a shower of sand raining from the heavy folds of his Hawaiian shirt. A plan is forming. But down on the beach, the mystery hangs heavy in the salty air, while high above, Dracula stews in absolute silence. Soon enough, they're surfing under the moon. Hours pass. As the sun finally dips below the horizon and these long, dark shadows stretch across the stones, a wild cheer erupts from outside. Dracula drops from the rafters. He hits the floor, his boots cracking against the stone as he takes human form once again. He expects them to just wander in, demanding dinner. But instead, Wolfman's voice booms from outside, calling his name. Dracula approaches. Suddenly, the heavy iron doors fly open with a resounding metallic clang. Outside, the orange sun is swimming just below the dark horizon. The entire horde of monsters is lined up right there on the sand. 3, 2, 1, they shout, loudly apologizing for the sunlight harshing his vibe. They point up. A massive, brilliant full moon reflects perfectly off the dark water. Frankenstein steps forward, passing Dracula, a custom bat-black surfboard. Dracula stands there, gripping the dark board. He raises it high into the air and lets out a triumphant shout. The crowd roars back. Together, the entire horde of monsters rushes toward the water, diving in to catch perfect, rolling waves beneath the bright, silver light of the moon.